Hey everyone, and welcome to This Week in Hearthstone, week number 4, our weekly recap series of all the goings-on, news, and events in the Hearthstone world. And this week, our top story is Amaz Tells All. Amaz told all to this week on a YouTube video. I believe he recorded it live on a stream, but he posted it to YouTube. You can find the video down below in the description. I do recommend it. It's a very emotional video. It's very personal. It's, can be kind of tough to watch, but I think it's something people should give a look into. So the gist of it, for the most part, is he goes into his personal life, talks about, his sexual orientation, and, how that's affected his life growing up and going into streaming and all of that. And he goes into more detail about he had these sexual allegations towards him based on an old Team Archon event. If you're not aware, he was supposed to be in a Battlegrounds tournament and was kicked out last minute when these allegations came out that women had been assaulted or taken advantage of at an event that he was in charge of, that he had run. But as he's talked about in the video, he really had nothing to do with that aspect of the tournament. He was busy scheduling and doing all sorts of stuff. He wasn't, involved in that. And Ian talked about how Blizzard didn't really give him any chance at defending himself, didn't really give himself basically anybody would listen to what he had to say or anything, and they just kicked him out of the tournament, and it really broke his heart. He was really excited for it. And I remember when the day happened, he tweeted kind of vaguely about it, that he was just basically didn't know how to feel right now and was pretty heartbroken. And yeah, he basically made the announcement in this video that he is no longer going to stream Blizzard games. And he's been a lifelong Blizzard fan. He's been streaming these games as long as I've been aware. I've followed him since well over 5 years. He was one of the first Twitch streamers I ever followed when I started. And yeah, it's a shame to see him leaving the scene. He regularly streamed Battlegrounds and still had a pretty big following, and with the whole Me Too movement and all of that, it's very touchy. It can be very controversial and all of that, but to not give the guy literally any chance to defend himself, I don't really love that aspect of things. Being presumed guilty before innocent feels pretty bad, and I've known with my own dealings with Blizzard, they don't really give a damn about what their influencers really have to say. If they feel that it doesn't fit in their line whatsoever, they'll dump you in a heartbeat. I mean, I'm not involved with them because I'm constructively negative. I have constructive criticism, and that's just deemed negative. So that's why you'll never see me really working with Blizzard either. It can be a tough road to go down to try and work with them, and then the second they want to cut ties with you, there's just nothing you can do about it. So if you want to check out the video, again, it's in the description below. You can take your own opinions and feelings with it. And again, it's a very emotional one. It can be difficult to watch, but I think it's important. And, the guy's pouring his heart out there, and I think that's commendable. And it just sucks to see someone just literally not able to defend themselves whatsoever if his side of the story is that. Our next story, a little bit more positive and upbeat, was Blizzard had a big announcement for Hearthstone this week. We already went over the nerfs in a video earlier this week, which you can check out, but we did not cover all of the other events announced. So as you can see, this graphic here, there's the Scholomance Academy, the Forbidden Library event. I believe it's from September 8th to September 29th. First week, we're going to see a Battlegrounds party system introduced with some new heroes. And there'll be a Mega Wild Bundle. There's going to be 56 packs from Wild available to purchase. And typically when they put these bundles out, they're pretty well priced, but we don't know the details yet, so I can't really evaluate it. But I would be very surprised if it's not $55, $60, where it's literally $1 a pack, something like that. And if you're looking into investing into Wild, it'll probably be a really good way to go. In week 2, we're having, an all-new Hearthstone Book of Heroes. They describe it as a year-long event. Basically, it's going to be a year-long single-player free content where you play through a linear story for all the 10 heroes. And I believe we're starting with a mage. We'll go through mage going from a scholar to a mage, and you'll get to play through that. And then when you complete that adventure or whatever, you'll get a pack. And it'll be all mage cards that are in standard, so you'll get a bunch of mage cards. So that's cool, and it's free, which is awesome, and I usually enjoy the adventure content, although, you know, it typically doesn't usually have legs past you beat it, you get the stuff and you move on. And there's also going to be a Scholar Jaina bundle, where you get a new Jaina portrait, and it looks like 5 mage packs. Again, we don't know the pricing on that, so again, hard to evaluate. The last mage bundle we had was kind of a rip-off, to be honest. It's one of the only bundles that I didn't buy, because I just thought it was it was like $10 for 5 mage packs. It was just kind of crap. So hopefully it's better this time around, but, you know, something to look forward to. And then in the third week, the Heroic Brolysium will be back. And I believe there's a card back we can get, the Delaran card back. I'm not entirely sure how we can get that. But the Brolysium is back, and it's the Heroic Brolysium. And I really enjoy these. Some people have complained, and we'll go over what kind of people complain about. Take a look here where it will highlight exactly what Heroic Brolysium entails. So it's like Arena. You buy a ticket, and you're entered, and you either play till you hit 12 wins or 3 losses. And depending on how well you do, you get rewards. So it's expensive. It's not cheap to enter. They have made it very much that way. So you can either spend $10 or 1,000 gold to enter. So that's quite a lot to ask for. I mean, 1,000 gold is 10 packs, and $10 is basically that to an extent. And if you look at the rewards here, if you get 0 wins, you just get a pack. So that's 1,000 gold or $10 for a pack. That's terrible. You get 1 win, you get 2 packs. Not great. 2 wins, 3 packs. Still not great. And then you can see it scales up from 3 wins, it goes to 4. Then you have 5 packs, 6 packs, 7 packs, 8 packs, 9 packs. But then when you hit 9 wins, you get 16 packs for 9 through 11. Plus you get a bunch of dust and gold. And at the very end of the spectrum, at the top, if you do the absolute best, you get 12 wins. You get 50 packs, 1,100 dust, 1,100 gold, and 3 golden legendaries, which is worth a hell of a lot more than 1,000 gold or $10. So, like, you do really well, you're gonna feel great, and you don't do so great, you're gonna feel terrible. And yeah, the average result is probably gonna be around the 3 to 5 range, which it's not gonna feel great. So this is kind of an event that's really good for players that know how to play really well, like pro players, and know how to play the best decks and read the meta the best, and they'll probably do well, and they'll probably stream it, and it'll look really cool. And for the average player, this is just not something you want to do. This is not something you're probably going to want to do, but for someone like me who plays a lot of Hearthstone, who thinks at least they're relatively good, I'll probably be streaming it, trying to, you know, take advantage of it, have some, you know, have some fun with it. But yeah, this event can be a lot of fun, but the high risk, high reward, it's not so much fun for the average player. So if you're looking forward to this event and you're just kind of your average Joe Hearthstone player, at least you consider yourself that, you might want to, you know, lay back and maybe not give this one a go. But if they do give a free ticket, I don't know if they will, then definitely take advantage of that, and that'd be pretty sick. I hope they do that at least, but who knows, that might not happen. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, that's all the stuff that they announced for this like event month. It looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to a lot of it. The Battlegrounds stuff, I'm not going to cover again. We're not really a Battlegrounds channel, but there's a lot of cool stuff if you want to, you know, look into that, if you're into BGs and all that. So, cool stuff. Always happy for more content, and I will definitely be highlighting it all on the channel when it comes out, so you can look forward to that in the coming weeks. Another interesting tidbit I wanted to put out there is we had a first ever in Hearthstone, at least that we are aware of. With the recent nerfs to the cards that we went over already, Dark Glare is the first ever standard card nerfed for the sake of balancing Wild. One of the lead card designers went on a Twitter to explain all of the nerf announcements, and Alec Dawson mentioned that that for Dark Glare, it's mainly done for Wild. They didn't like what the deck was doing, created a lot of non-games of the early board states, which we had mentioned and talked about. So they made the change effectively for Wild, and that's kind of really fundamental changes to the way that they're looking at Wild. You know, normally it's just kind of like an afterthought, and that they balance it, you know, when they get a chance, but Dark Glare has not been prevalent for more than a month. It's been like a month now, not even. And they're nerfing it, and specifically for Wild. So that's awesome. I'm glad that they're really, giving the wild community a bit more of a shot, giving us a bit more of, just something to go on. And a lot of us weren't happy with Dark Lair. Some people wanted it to stay, but a lot of us didn't. And I personally, the reason I was so adamant about it, it was because it's exactly the type of deck that they don't want in the game, or you feel hopeless, it's early in the game, and it just creates board states that are just ridiculous. And, it's just not typically something Blizzard likes. So that's why I harped on it, and I was not surprised to see it changed, and I'm glad that they did. And, we'll see what it's like when it goes live. So, speaking along those lines, we will take a look at our weekly meta update in Standard and Wild. Standard, we are seeing a lot of Mage and Rogue at higher Legend. Created by has just completely taken ladder by storm, whether it's creating cards with Apprentice and like Cyclone and Evocation, or whether you're playing Rogue and just creating by with Lackeys and Wand Thieves and all that stuff, Secret Passage, all the like. And then you have, you still have Druid in there, you still have Bomb Warrior in there, but it's very created by. The meta is very created by. And then we also have, and I've mentioned this in I think the last week or two, Turtle Mage becoming a real legitimate top tier threat on ladder. It's the biggest, most popular swing in terms of popularity on ladder is Turtle Mage. People are playing it a lot. And Xananan recently hit rank 1 legend with it, and it's being built more to be tempo based, so you don't just rely solely on your turtle getting infinite copies. You have like Jandis, you have other options like that, and the deck is performing very well. It's being used at GM events, it's being used at Master Tour qualifiers. It is just a legitimate powerhouse of a deck that is certainly not a meme. And I do think it is that type of deck that Blizzard probably doesn't want in the game, the non-interactive infinite value. So again, it's a deck that it would not be surprised to see get nerfed at some point. But again, we'll see how it develops and all that. I'm not like jumping on nerf this immediately. I'm just kind of like, watch out. This is one that you're likely going to see changed at some point if it keeps trending this way. And the meta in Wild is largely still the same. The nerfs aren't live yet as I speak for Dark Glare and Secret Passage. So as a result, Dark Glare Warlock is still very popular on ladder. Reno Priest, still very popular, and that won't change because the nerfs don't affect that deck at all. And there's one deck that I gave a go this weekend and has been popping up and people have been having some success with, is Hogwoggle Druid running the Guardian Animals package. This deck it's pretty decent. It can do very well against Priest. You don't run Geppetto, so the Lucia doesn't screw you pretty much at all. It's just Dirty Rat you have to dodge. And you can beat Dark Glare if you have the right seeds, or you high roll your Guardian Animals into a giant minion swing, which can be very effective. And it's been a fun deck to play. Is it top tier? Not really convinced. I actually think the Oaken Summons package might still just be better than Guardian Animals, but we'll see. But I thought I'd highlight this deck. It's pretty cool, fun combo deck if you want to give it a go. But again, the meta will change a lot more in the upcoming days when Dark Lair gets nerfed. And then next week's meta highlight should be a lot more interesting. So make sure you sub and follow the channel so when we update the meta update next week, you can keep following on that. Shameless plug, I know. For this week's results in GM, it was much more of a different week. It was a round robin based. They had like their Division A, Division B, and honestly, I can't even follow what the hell is really going on. I just know they played a bunch of games, and I don't really know the results so well without, like, it's crazy how hard this shit's to follow. So I thought instead of highlighting who won or who lost in their round robin games and all of that, I'd share some insight into the mind of some of these GMs that are going through this created by meta I mentioned earlier. I wanted to highlight two tweets. One by Language Hacker and one by Casey. Language Hacker, after apparently being completely scammed by just complete ridiculous RNG and all that stuff, especially with, the created by Rogue and Mage, he tweeted out, looking to hire a stand-in for next week's GM game, so maybe that'll be one of you guys. Just pick random decks from H's replay and throw your hands up every 2 to 3 turns. No Hearthstone experience required since decisions don't really matter. Absolutely savage, and this is coming from one of the best players in the world That's how frustrated a lot of these guys are with the created by meta. Now, let's take a look at what Casey had to say. Casey, he is a European GM. He said, at least the casters are having fun watching my games. All I can say is at least it was over fast, and that we're accepting this amount of created by in a competitive environment blows my mind. GG's, at least we have a 1 week break from this. It feels like the Grandmasters are kind of breaking. This meta of pure random is driving them a little bit up the wall. And if you know me, you know how I feel. I feel like the created by is a little bit ridiculous. So I'll share my tweet that I sent out earlier this week. I said this is the card or the effect or whatever that needs to be nerfed more now than ever. And I solely just put a picture of created by. So I thought I'd give just a little bit more of like an insight on the GM mind rather than going over some round robin results that I honestly don't really even understand what's happening. And I think that's kind of another fault of the whole HS esports GM system of it's really difficult to follow, even looking through their website, looking through their Twitter. It's just like, what is going on? But next week there will be a Masters Tour event where there'll be probably a new GM, or at least a good chance of a new GM being made, because the Masters Tour events, usually typically whoever wins them will become a GM. So we'll highlight the results of that next week. So if you are looking for like some GM or Master Tour related results, we'll have some in-depth results next week for you. So make sure to tune in for that. And that's this week in Hearthstone. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And again, we'll be back at you next week with yet another weekly recap. So make sure you sub to the channel to follow for that. Have a great day and stay salty, my friend.